All right, so we've got SRT Warriors on, and it's just going to be a general discussion tonight. It's been a while since I've been on air. I don't know if it's on air, on computer, like on digital. Like what does that mean?
I have no idea.
I mean, yeah.
But I guess the first question I have is what type of equipment do you use to sort of make these episodes?
Okay. That's actually kind of interesting because I have a couple different setups, and there's different ways you can do it. Like the setup that I'm on right now is a little bit more of a premium type deal. I'm using a Scarlet Red 18i20, so it's an 18 input DI box. You could record an entire band through this thing. A little bit of overkill because right now I only have one microphone plugged into it. But one of the things that I would recommend for somebody just starting out would be, go on Amazon or whatever. You can either get a USB, Bluetooth, or not a Bluetooth, Blue Audio mic, or my other setup that's kind of like a little bit more portable is a Native Instruments Audio 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing can be plugged into a laptop, and when I travel and record stuff, then I'll use that. And it's actually geared more towards like pro audio as far as like DJs and stuff. But it works really well, and I don't think it's very expensive. And then as far as microphones go, I have a couple different ones. You want to stick to a condenser mic. That's how you get, sultry voice, that sweet sound.
Is there like another name for that, like pop filter? Is that something completely different?
That's something completely different. So a pop filter, the reason why it's called a pop filter is because it removes the P sounds. Because if you were to say pop into a microphone, you'd actually shock the the membrane in the microphone. So if you use a pop filter, it redirects the like the air coming out of your mouth away from that, so you can still say pop without having it like punch the membrane. So it's actually a screen. But yeah, so condenser microphones. Condenser mics are, I wouldn't say like specialized. You definitely get a lot better voice through that if you're going for kind of like a smooth, soft radio type feel. There's a couple different types. You're probably going to want like a hypercoidroid. So there's different types of them, but if you go to like Guitar Center or just Google, vocal mics or voice mics, they're pretty good. I'm using a Rode. I have a Rode mic, and then I have this old Sterling Audio that I just like the way it sounds. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as expense goes, I think like a decent setup, depending on how crazy you get and what you're using to record, you could get away with it at like $100 just to put content out there. Or, I mean, sky's the limit. The setup I'm using right now is probably like, I don't know, 2 G's. Yeah.
Right. So I actually looked up some of the information on YouTube and did some of my research in terms of software and audio equipment, and a lot of stuff that you said before sounds pretty familiar. But with Zencastr, have you ever heard of that software?
Yeah, that's like podcasting software.
Yeah, so it like based off of all the outlets that I did research on, it seems like that's the best recording software that you can use, and it sort of strips out and like filters out any unnecessary noise so you can sound more smoother. And I'm not sure if you heard of the microphone Audio Technica ATR 2100
Oh
USB.
yeah, Audio
Yeah,
Technica is
so
good.
yeah, so it's like a basic um, USB microphone with a pop filter on it, which is why I mentioned before the pop filter
Yep.
aspect of the setup, and also Zoom H6 6-track portable recorder. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, all the Zoom stuff is awesome. Back when I
Yeah.
used to do film, I would use a boom mic, and it would run into a Zoom H4n, and that thing kicks ass as a recorder. It does have two condenser microphones that are biased. I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah, like the 4 or 6, I assume H6 is supposed to represent the outputs, right? So 6 outputs, you can have 6 people
It would be
within.
inputs, yeah.
Okay. So
So,
yeah,
I
that
mean,
makes
you don't
sense.
necessarily need six. I think four would be good. I mean, I've never found myself in a situation where I need more than four.
Right.
Um,
But no, the portable system seems to be interesting enough to where I guess conversations like these where I'm on the phone with you and you're having the ability to record this conversation and upload it and etc.
yeah.
That device will make it more easier and convenient, I guess.
I
Or
think it may be a little bit more complicated. You know, it depends on what type of computer you have. So, you have a PC, right?
yeah, that's correct.
I'm not really sure in that realm. Maybe doing using Fruity Loops or Acid or Ableton or something like that, playing around with
Mhm.
it. I don't know. I haven't used Zencaster because the way that we've been doing it right now is I record everything through my digital or my analog to digital converter,
I see.
and then it gets routed to my computer. My computer does all of the processing, and then I output to my digital to analog converter. So it's like I have two different inputs, outputs, different types. It gets a little complicated, but I haven't used Zencaster. I just record strictly through Logic because I'm familiar with it and can edit easily. So I've never used podcasting software.
Yeah, I with the podcast that I'm currently doing right now, Little Saturday Cars Live, I've been using my iPhone, of course, for the podcast, which I'm trying to get into that consistent audio tone to where every single episode sounds the same and not different from one another, which is what I realize with every single episode that I'm recording. But I'm just gonna order something to have a fixed solution on it. Most probably what I specified before, the Audio Technica ATR 2100 USB
Yeah.
device. But other than that, yeah, I think the Zencaster software, you have a free trial, and after that, you need to pay. But what I use for editing, I think it's called Audacity or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I use.
I mean, this actually looks pretty great as far as Zencaster goes. Um, I'm just old school. Like I've got all this stuff. I mean, hell, I send you the files and you upload them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this for sure. I like the fact that it's got built-in VoIP, and this is in no way a plug for them because obviously I haven't used them, you haven't used them,
No, for sure.
but I mean it's funny that they're like, oh, you can record in 16-bit 441. It's like, okay, that's like baseline good quality. That's like a CD. It's CD quality.
Right. Yeah.
It's just funny
No,
they say that.
I think it's just advertising to people that don't know. Like with Salino and Barnes, how they advertise that if we lose your case, then you don't owe us any more money. That's actually the law. So if they lose your case, you don't owe them a cent.
Wait, who? What?
So Salino and Barnes is a law firm that's usually heavily advertised
Yeah.
through commercials through New York. I'm not sure if it's just a New York thing or it's just injury attorneys, essentially.
Huh.
So popular injury attorneys, if B5 Scat or Billet Scat or anyone else that lives in the New York metro area probably knows about them. But with injury attorneys, they usually advertise that if we lose your case, then you don't owe us any money, and that's
But it's
essentially
actually a
the law.
law.
Yeah, so it's actually the law, and they're just specifying it
Yeah.
because it's
They're just saying
mandatory.
it.
Yeah, for the people that don't know and who think they're getting a deal from it, so it's actually pretty funny.
Huh. All right. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So I mean, I guess I wouldn't say don't spend a ton of money in it, because there's a lot of guys out there that have like really shitty production value, but they're consistent and they put stuff out there, and because of that they get I guess they get people to follow them.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. What did you say? It was an Audio Technica?
I set the ATR 2100 USB.
Let's see here.
I think the last time I checked, it was around like 139 or somewhere around there. It's a decent microphone for the money, because every single research outlet source like YouTube, some articles and some forums, they highly recommend that for anyone who's just starting out.
The only reason why I would not recommend it is that is a vocal mic.
I see.
It's a specific vocal mic, so it's a cardioid. Now, if you go to get like the AT2020, the AT2020, I don't think is US. Well, or if you get the Blue Microphone Yeti, I would get that one because it's actually built and designed for, I would say, podcasting. If you use the Audio Technica, it's just a different type of membrane. Like you could totally get away with it, but it's how the microphone is set up to receive the audio. So you're going to get a lot of like, I would say transients, but you're going to get a lot of stuff from like the outlying area. So, and so like the surrounding area, like, so you're going to hear stuff off to the side. You're going to hear a door close. You're going to hear stuff going on. So like I'm talking directly into the microphone right now. And if I talk over here, it's going to completely change because now I'm off access of the microphone. If you were to do that with the Audio Technica, the Audio Technica is going to pick up a wider range. So you could be off to the side, and you know, it's really hard to explain. You're gonna if you get it, you'll realize pretty quick that if you're not, I don't know. Just get it. I mean, play with it. Like, see, this is the hard part because like audio is so hard to explain because it's perceived differently by different people.
No,
so
yeah.
The
Yeah,
way that I
understood.
describe something may not be the way that you receive it.
No, yeah, it's subjective, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So I guess with other news besides podcasting equipment, how's your Cayman doing?
How is the Cayman doing? Well, I waxed it. I finally got some chemical guy stuff, and you know, I've been doing pretty well. it's this really weird thing popped up. I've been driving the hell out of the car, and man, like my like thigh, like my lower thigh, so from like my ass to the underside of my leg. So I guess like where
It's
your
stronger than
hamstring
the
is.
other.
No, it's not stronger. Like it's almost like I screwed up a nerve or something just slamming that clutch. So like every once in a while, like especially when I'm driving the car, oh man, sometimes it just hurts, and it's because I was sitting in traffic or something.
Is it heavy?
I would say the clutch is probably a little bit heavier than normal. Definitely because of traffic. And then compounded on top of that, I have the carbon fiber racing seats. So,
Ooh.
yeah, they're not very forgiving. They're
Yeah.
comfortable, but you can't really adjust them. So,
No.
yeah. I mean, aside from that, the car is awesome.
Yeah, I actually saw you on a couple stories racing the vehicle around the track.
Oh, okay. As long as I'm on a track.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good on the track. Really surprised with how hard you can push the car. A couple times I was getting a little nervous because I felt like I was pushing it too hard, and having raced the Corvette, I'm used to like brake fade and temps climbing and all that stuff. So I went through an entire tank of gas, and it was about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours of racing. And I had like 18 miles left in my tank. And so I'm like, all right, well, I did a full send. This car is going to be on fire soon. I just beat the crap out of it. And I literally pulled it off, got out of the car expecting to, hey, I'm going to need new brakes. I'm going to, the tires are going to be screwed up. Just all the normal stuff with racing. And it was almost like the car had just gotten off the highway. Like it completely unaffected by the abuse.
Yeah, I can tell with how far you're pushing it in terms of I forgot when it was. When was the last time you were there racing it?
So it was about a month ago, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was around that time. But so comparatively speaking to racing it with the car you currently have and the Corvette, which one is better?
Oh
I would
God.
say the Cayman, right? Or not?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
so the Corvette was a great car, but it was and people are going to hate me for saying this, but it was a car built for old guys. And it's a
I
little
can
bit
see
more
that.
it's a little bit more luxurious, comfortable. It's just yeah, it would be like the equivalent of having like I wouldn't call it like a lazy boy, but like if you strapped a big engine on a lazy boy. That's pretty much it. Like, I had subwoofers in the car that came stock. The car was $74,000. So I don't know. It's kind of like a luxury sports car, but it's not. So it fits in this weird realm because it wants to be fast and it wants to be like a great track car, but it's only like 80-90% of the way there. So had they changed like a couple things and actually put like really good brakes on it and stainless steel brake lines and just like little things, it could have been so much better. Because I had to change all that stuff. And once I did, like the car woke up. Because it's fast, like it's fast in a straight line, no problem. But I don't even think you can compare the Corvette to the Cayman. Like they're so drastically different. If you had a spec built racing Corvette, like a race car, I'm sure that would probably compare it to the GT4. And I'm not trying to be like a Porsche fanboy, by
No,
any means.
I understand, and I think both of them are classified as GT cars, right? Or
Yep.
okay, so I assume they're different categories of GT cars since you specify that they're completely different from one another.
Probably. I mean, in order to race the Corvette that I had, it probably would have needed like to race it like actually competitively. I mean, you're probably looking at like another 30 grand.
Oh,
To
geez.
yeah, to get you, roll cage, like everything up to snuff. Well, in comparison, the Porsche is set up for the track to get like to begin with. Carbon fiber racing buckets. It's set up for multi-point harness, so you can do a 6-point harness, and it's got like cutouts in the driver's seat, so you can pull a harness through the center of the seat. And
Right.
like that's the seat bottom, so there's a cutout in between the Alcantara that you can just pull it through, and then you can have a 6-point harness.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, the GT4 was set up for track
The
days,
track, yeah, exactly.
and I think that speaks to, Porsche knew that whoever was going to buy I think they made 2,500 of them. Whoever was going to buy the car is either going to track it or it's going to sit in someone's garage. And so I bought one that was sitting in someone's garage. But now I'm that guy that probably will track it. So, or has.
So, do you think the previous owner that had your car, do you think the reason why it was sitting in his or her garage was due to his interest of flipping it, or because I'm not sure if it's as big as it used to be with the secondhand Porsche reselling market of reselling high valuable or limited edition Porsches and marking them up like twice the price or something like that. I think it all stopped around what was it, the 911R, when someone was selling it for $1 million, and the CEO of Porsche was like, "All right, we're just gonna make it in unquestionable quantities or whatever, so you guys can't really dictate the price, and
Right.
these cars are meant for driving, not to resell them, so you guys can make money off of it," sort of deal.
I mean, I respect that view. Like, I think they should absolutely not. You shouldn't buy a car to just hold on to it. I mean, me personally, like, I want to drive my cars. I want to. I kind of want to push them. Like, I don't know. They're machines. They're meant to be used. So.
No, agreeable.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing. I'm the fourth owner of that car. It only had 7,400 miles on it when I bought it. And the guy that traded it in, I think he bought a 911 Targa. So clearly he's got some dough. And I think...
To be honest with you, he could stick with the GT4. I'm not really a fan with with the Targa.
Yeah. And so, like, he obviously just traded it because it was the lowest on the totem pole. And, dude traded it in. He gave the key to the dealer, and the dealer even told me, he was like, the guy handed me the key, and he goes, "Oh, that's the first time I've seen the headlights on." Like, what?
What the hell?
So, which is really interesting because over the span of almost 4 years, and this shows you how well the price holds, 7,400 miles. It's certified pre-owned. Like, it's a great car. Like, granted, there's like a couple scuffs on it, and I can get those fixed easily. But the car only depreciated, I think, 10 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm cool with that because obviously it's going to hold its value. And from that body, they only made 2,500 of them. So if it doesn't decrease by another 10, like, when I was running the numbers on it, I was like, this totally makes sense because my Corvette is going to depreciate like crazy. And all right, so I bought the Corvette for 74, or no, it was supposed to be 74,000. I bought it for 52, and and CarMax at the end of the year when I made this swap, I only had the car for like 6-8 months. CarMax was only willing to give me 38.
Wow.
So it's a 2017. So over the course of 3 years, 2 years, whatever, the car dropped like what? Technically $40,000 in depreciation.
Yeah, which I can't really understand why people, especially with the C7, right?
Yep.
That was the last generation. Why they would buy those cars new? Those cars
Totally.
were MSRP like 82,000 at least with all options and whatever, and now they took a $40,000 haircut.
Yeah, absolutely. And my car, granted, like it got tracked a little bit. My car only had like 10,000 miles on it. I bought it brand new off the lot earlier this year, and it was a 2017. So, oh man, I bought it with 142 miles on it. I think I dropped it off with around 9 or 10, and I lost about 10 grand on the car. I think about 10. But that doesn't include like, hey, I upgraded the brakes. I bought rims for it. I have tires. Went through 2 sets of tires.
Right.
All that stuff. I don't want to calculate that, and I don't think I will.
Probably
Just because, Yeah, well, that's racing, right? Like you're gonna spend it anyway.
No, yeah, of course. But what's even more crazy is with my fourth episode, I was actually talking about how the new Corvettes that are coming out, if they don't sell the new C8 over $80,000 with options and etc., there's a possibility that GM might lose money from the car. Which
what?
I'm not really sure it's speculation or if it's really happening, but I guess if you think about it, it's if you think of GM is a really huge automotive company, and with the losses that they might receive from the new Corvette, how many they sell, and let's say the average price is around 70, they can write the loss off and who knows, probably pay less in taxes or I don't know, but it's pretty interesting to think about in terms of them losing money on that car. And it's not it's not everything carbon fiber. It's like plastic composites, and they reformatted the interior to make it look like, I don't know, like some type of Italian exotic or something like that. So
yeah, well, let's build your own. Let's see here. I wonder. Corvette. Oh, they already changed the picture of the Corvette. Cool. All right, yeah. So the coupe from 60. So you think that they have to put an additional $20,000 worth of options just to get this thing to like sell well?
That's what I was reading up on an article on motor1.com, that there's a possibility that with the cars that they're bringing out, especially the first year models, that if they would not to sell the car over $80,000, then they probably would lose money on it.
Dude, this is so confusing. Have you ever done this? Because like if you're trying to compare the trim, it is super confusing.
You know what's even more funny is that with the trim levels with the Mustang Mach-E, like the new electric cars that they're coming out with, they have like 7 to 6 trim levels, and all of them are extremely confusing on what they come with. Like some are selective, like some trim levels have selective features and other ones don't.
Yep.
So I have no idea what Ford is doing. I asked a couple of people about that vehicle, and they were just as confused as me, and their justification of it is, well, they obviously know more than me because I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Dude, this is
So,
crazy. Like, all right, so the 1LT is like all of these cars have the exact same engine, right?
yeah.
They all have the same standard options, it looks like. The only difference is with the 3LT. What? With the three. Dude, this makes no sense. Like,
I'm telling you, it's confusing.
yeah, and if you move to the 3LT, everything's available. It doesn't come with it. It's just available. So that means you have to pay for it.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's just I think with their trim levels, they're just trying to make their options or their car sound more unique than it actually is. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to trash on GM and Ford. I think
No.
what the vehicles that they're coming out with are pretty cool for the future, but in terms of presenting them in an efficient way, I think they missed the ball on it with trim levels and what it comes with, what it doesn't come with, what you have to select, what you don't have to select. I have no idea.
Dude, yeah, I'm building this thing out right now. We're gonna do Sebring Orange with dual sterling silver racing stripes, and then Napa leather. Should I do? Well, yeah. Why would you want Napa leather if you want a race car? Anyway, yeah, let's do that. We'll do blue on the inside. Just make it stupid. Z51 performance package. Duh. Oh, that adds $5,000 to the 3LT package that should already have the Z51 package. Engine appearance package. Fuck is this?
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Carbon fiber closeout panels on each side of the engine. LED lighting illuminates the engine compartment. It's $1,000.
Goodness.
Done. Doing that too. We're at 80. I'm gonna get these 5 spokes because they're dope. Come on, I want those in black. Why can't you get the Trident wheels in black? Get them in gray. Huh. All right, fuck it. Do that. Performance exhaust is included, by the way. That's great. If you want your calipers painted edge red, no, let's do yellow. This car is gonna look butchered. Oh yeah, you can get black 5-spoke Trident wheels, but they cost $2,600 to add on. Great. Of course I want carbon fiber everywhere.
You know what's even more funny is that they didn't offer that on the C7, I think, with the base models with carbon fiber features, or did they?
Only on the, I think the Z06 and the ZR1. It's a $5,000 upgrade for visible carbon fiber.
Wow.
Body color, exterior accents. Cool. I don't know what that just did, but visible carbon fiber grill insert. Duh. Of course I want to spend $2,000. Jeez,
Just carbon
man.
fiber everything.
I'm trying to. It's so confusing. Rear fascia protector with embroidered embossed. I don't know what the hell that is, but we're getting it. Rocker panel, high wing spoiler, carbon flash metallic. Visible carbon fiber roof panel. Duh. Cool. Carbon fiber dual roof package. I don't know what that
You're trying to make this car look like a Z06?
Yeah, I'm
With
basically
everything
building a
carbon
Z06,
fiber?
but it's
Yeah.
going to be slower.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber dual roof package. Okay, cool. I don't know what that means, but it costs $3,500. High wing spoiler. Duh. Wow. Okay, so if you add the spoiler, you have to remove the orange tint coat, and it has to be a Sebring, or it has to be a white car now.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I don't want a white car.
So that's the only color that they offer with that spoiler?
Apparently. I'm
What the
not
hell?
cool with that. So we're going back. It's going to cost me $500 more. Competition sport buckets, duh. Orange seatbelt color, probably. God, this car looks bastardized. Suede microfiber wrap steering wheel, $600.
You know, the steering wheel for that vehicle looks pretty obscure, but I like it at the same time.
Dude, wait until you put your hands on it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. But I think with what do you call it again? When I was watching the Jay Leno episode when they were reviewing that car, the guy was telling Jay Leno that it was inspired from their IMSA competitive race car for the C7. So they decided to incorporate that sort of same geometric feature for the wheel that they are selling right now.
So it's a cool concept. The difference is when you're driving a race car versus a road car.
It's completely different.
Yeah. So having the steering wheel be flat isn't really good for people that need to take turns, which is fine. Because honestly, like, we're going to see so many Instagram videos of these things just getting fucked up. So
No, I'm sure.
So my net price right now is $92,000.
Christ.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna have like a $40,000 haircut within 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, really.
It's pretty much how it goes down.
Yeah. And I think the reason why, again, I got rid of the Corvette, I knew it was going to depreciate. But what my long-term plan is, like, I don't think I'll ever get rid of either the Durango or the GT4. They're just awesome cars. And they're like, they serve their purpose. I'm just satisfied, right? But I would totally wait for these things to depreciate and then get one of these.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad plan. But what's even more cool is what they're rendering on social media like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube with the wide body kits and the spoiler kits. It looks pretty cool.
I totally agree. And I mean, if I just hope that at SEMA next year, if they do come out by then, that we see some cool stuff and that they're able to be kind of played with. And it's kind of, I'm looking forward to like a Mopar competitor, right? Because nobody right now can touch Mopar as far as the customizing goes.
For sure. Yeah.
It would just be cool to see like a resurgence of the the American muscle thing. I mean, Ford's got its head so far up its ass, it's not funny.
I don't even know what they're doing because
dude, they're smoking crack.
Yeah. Like I specified, I'm not sure if I specified it before, but with their Mustang truck or whatever, I think they're trying to make Mustang into a performance line instead of the actual coupe itself. They're trying to leech off.
So it's going to be like a brand then.
Brand. Yeah, like a performance package or another family, like sort of what SRT has with their SRT packages and whatever. it's going to be similar with Ford and their Mustang. Because if you think about it, like there's nothing else in Ford's lineup besides the two-door coupe, the 5.0 Mustang that they have right now.
True.
And there's nothing that says Mustang other than that car.
True. And
Unlike,
I mean, there's no Ford logo on it.
no, which I realized as well. So I'm not sure if they're trying to disguise it to see if people would get it if they didn't know it was a Ford.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a Tesla and a Ford fucked, and this is
it does,
or a Tesla and a Mustang, and this was
really
their
does.
demon spawn.
No, and I was mentioning it when I was going over with this car with the trim levels and what the car has to offer is, when Elon was making that presentation on the Cybertruck, he didn't pick any other company besides Ford because him and Ford have the most terrible relationship once it comes to trademark agreements, how they market their cars, and they just don't see eye to eye with one another. And that's icing on the cake with Tesla pretty much tearing Ford a new asshole essentially by using the F-150 with its experiments, the towing experiment, and saying that the F-150's durability and built collaboration is sort of not the most efficient way, so we decided to make a better truck.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they're saying.
I mean, Elon did them kind of dirty too, because I'm pretty sure they only used a two-wheel drive or like a rear-wheel drive. And no matter what, like Ford pulled that bullshit, like Engineering Explained, the YouTube channel talked about, they towed 1 million pounds. Like, it's like, okay, well, when you have rolling force and inertia and all that shit, and you compile it together, that makes sense. And like with if the Tesla Cybertruck weighed the same as the Ford pickup, then it would be an even fight. And it may not be an even fight. It comes down to weight distribution. Like, that's all showmanship. It's like bullshit.
Right. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. It's just him dissing on Ford because they didn't let him make the Model E, so instead he made the Model 3. Because originally the Model 3 that they currently have out was supposed to be the Model E, but Ford specified to Tesla, if you guys do this, then we're just going to sue you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Elon says, well,
I didn't even hear about that.
Well, he said it in an interview a while back when they were in the prototyping stages of the Model 3. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting how much of a grudge Tesla has against Ford. It's pretty funny.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. I know everybody's jumping on the electric bandwagon, but wow. And then when I guess this was a release probably like 6 months ago, they announced that they weren't going to be making any more like coupes and stuff, like Ford wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty interesting, but of course them coming out with the Mustang brand as we think it will be, I guess that makes sense.
Who knows at this point? I think they're just running out of ideas. To be honest with you.
What do we do now?
Yeah, that's what they're saying in the HQ.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, let's call it for tonight, and then we'll get back on here and do it again sometime soon.
Awesome, man. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye. Again, thanks for tuning in. You can find us on SoundCloud and YouTube at the Dysfunctional Podcast. We have an Instagram page, the Dysfunctional Podcast. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Take care.